I'm Matt Waters from Roane State Community College, talking today to Joe Martin from Runnin N Gunnin about the new direction for his TV show.
I'm glad to be here, Matt.
I'm glad to have you here. So tell us what's new for Runnin N Gunnin.
Well, what's new for us is we've stepped up our production. We went from Channel 15 and Channel 12 locally to we've also went to, we've signed with Hunt TV. So that'll put us on Dish Channel 266 starting July the 2nd at 6:30 Central Standard Time. So you can catch it there. We're on Apple TV. We're on Amazon Fire. We're on the Hunt TV local website. They'll air the programs on there anytime you want to get on the website. All of our shows will be on there. So we basically went from about 50 to 60,000 potential viewers, roughly, between our local channels to about 40 million potential viewers. So we've stepped up production quite a bit.
Wow, okay. And with this new direction, you've also added in new co-hosts. Tell me about that.
We added Brittany and Macon Sykes from Dixon, Tennessee, and they can cover that area. They also do a lot of competition hunting, so we can cover some of that. Hopefully, we're trying to get into that, and it just brings a whole new thing. They're hunting with hounds. I hunt with curs most of the time, so we're covering a lot of the dogs, and it's just great to have people helping out like that. And they're old friends and old partners too, so we've got a good relationship working together as it is.
Now, you're local, you're from here. These shows that you put together, a lot of them are shot here. You're out hunting here in this area.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that. How do you find these locations, and walk me through what happens when you decide to go out and put together an episode?
Well, what happens is we're hunting the same areas we grew up hunting. We're no different than anybody else. We're just, that's pretty much our demographic is the average hunter, the average Joe. We don't have thousands of acres to hunt on. We're hunting state lands. We're hunting private lands that'll let us. And what we do is we just, we'll go to one location. We may go to Mount Roosevelt, or we may go to Catoosa, or we may go to a private land, and then just kind of try to switch them out. And all you can do is animals don't work on cue. So you may go out tonight and you may not have anything. You may shoot all night long, shoot footage all night long that basically you're not going to be able to put nothing together that you can use somewhere. But we go out and go through the same things. And when you've got a year like this, where we're at, last year we had a distemper come through and wiped out a lot of our coons. And this year we had a late frost. It's been a horrible mass. So it's actually been a rough hunting season. And so we're just like everybody else. We're going out trying to tree coons, and trying to be as ethical as we can. And trying to instill, we're passionate about conservation, especially in this area with all the clear cut and everything that's going on. We're very passionate about that. So, it is localized for me more than anything.
What made you get interested in hunting in the first place?
Well, I grew up on Millstone Mountain. My dad was a hunter, and I grew up hunting all my life. My life lessons have been learned hunting, as far as accomplishing what you think you can't, getting where you think you can't, being able to do things on your own as far as navigating and everything else. It's just it's one of those things. It's a heritage of ours, anyways. It's a local heritage. A lot of my old family relations were Indian, as I'm sure a lot of other people's were, and hunting is just a big part. Always been a big part of our life. It's a family thing. It's family oriented, and I imagine it'll always be a big part. It's the same way with my son, my grandson. My grandson, Ruger, he's just 2.5 years old. We were squirrel hunting before we came here today. So, it's a big part of my family. It's a big part of heritage.
What made you decide to take a video camera, out with you on a hunt to put this show together in the first place? Why TV show? Well,
I got into this, and for years, you've had all the hunting channels. You've had plenty of outlets if you were a deer hunter, plenty of outlets if you were a turkey hunter. You could, during the off season when you weren't hunting, you could pull the arm on your recliner and turn on the TV and watch what you like to do. We've never had, as tree dog enthusiasts, a program that we can watch. And so that's what encouraged us to start filming. We decided one day just to pick up a camera and we started putting some things on YouTube, got a good response, and then we put a show together, which we didn't realize at the time how much work that was. And that was last year. Our first show aired on this channel, and from there, here we are now. We're on a major network, and So we've got a good response on it. And there's a lot of us. We're a major part of hunters, and we just never had nothing to watch. You know, we've got manufacturers that manufacture calls, lights, a whole host of equipment that you coon hunt with, and they've never really had that big media outlet to do that. So they're struggling with their day jobs, and they've got a great product and know where to put it, and now we do. And you know, like any show, after we come out with this, there'll be other people that'll say, hey, you know, we can have a show too. So one of these days, you might be a coon hunter and be able to sit down and have an option of 3 or 4 different shows to watch, you know. So it's kind of a new thing.
So tell me then what it's like to go out with the camera. You go out, do you have a whole crew with you, or is it just you by yourself sometimes?
Sometimes it's just me by myself. Sometimes I've got somebody hunting with me, a couple of buddies, my son, or you know, whoever I can gather to go, you know. And but a lot of times it's just me. I try to get somebody to where they can film. And I just kind of give them a few pointers, you know, what we're looking for. And, you know, and like any show, I mean, there's things that you want to stage, you know, and you got to do that. And so you kind of walk them through it. But a lot of times it's just me, you know, and I'll set up with tripod camera on a squirrel or a coon, and sometimes that thing will cooperate and sometimes it won't, you know, and it's trial and error and a lot of work. And, but if I can, I always try to have somebody with me. You know, it makes it a lot easier, especially as far as interviews, narration, and things like that. So that's what we try to do. But.
Okay. And you've been able to bring on a lot of sponsors. Did you want to mention?
Yeah, we have just gained quick track tracking systems, which when I was a kid, they were a mountain. They were winning all the hunts. They had the best lights. They had the best tracking systems. And as far as I'm concerned, they still do. And we've developed a good relationship with them within the last 2 weeks, and so that's our big tracking system sponsor, and we're glad to have them. And then Night Rider Hollow, which was part of our first show, now that we've moved on into the production, he stepped out of that and decided just to be a sponsor as far as his lights, and so we're glad to have him. We've got some local people that are very interested in the local shows. We're just waiting on the nod with them. So yeah, we've been pretty busy, you know. Airtime takes money and sponsors, and without it, you're pretty much stuck in the mud. So, but we're glad to have them.
And coming up next, we'll talk to Brittany and Macon, the other 2 co-hosts of the show. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're here with Brittany and Macon Sykes, also co-host of Runnin N Gunnin, along with Joe Martin. So tell me, you're hunting out in Middle Tennessee, out toward Dixon County, you said. Tell me about that.
We just, right now with deer season in, it's a struggle to find some of the spots, but we have a couple, and then we got some state land that we can hunt on, public land. What else you want?
Over there, but you guys have hills and mountains pretty regularly on here, don't you? Ours is more of flat and rolling hills. It's not, we don't have the mountains that you guys have, although that there are quite a bit of bluffs and other things, but ours is a little more flatter than what you guys have to deal with.
Then you're also into competition hunting, so this is something new that you're bringing to the show because you have this background in competition. Tell me about that.
We got into competition hunting about 4 years ago. I personally love the competition part of it. I would rather go to a competition hunt before I would go pleasure hunting, just because I'm a really big competitor. I played basketball, soccer, all that growing up in high school and all through my life. Competition is where it's at for me. I really like that. And you know, it can get heated in the competition hunts. There can be arguments, happens a lot, but hopefully you always hope when you go out there the best dog wins.
Tell me about when you're actually out on the hunt, taking a camera out there with you, because when you have the cameras out there, you of course are, whatever comes in front of you is what you get. So sometimes it's a really good day, sometimes it may be a slim day. Tell me about how this works for you.
Brittany normally does most of our shooting of the camera, and you never know what you might get, like you mentioned. But
No, we've actually ran up on some skunks before. Walking through the field and I'm having the video camera out and he's yelling, "Watch out, there's a skunk up here." So we just have to be real careful about where we're going, and you're constantly kind of looking at the camera where you're walking. I've got it filming on the ground walking, or looking around. I'm focusing on the camera. So there's plenty of times where I'll just walk into something because you're focusing on the camera. Now he doesn't like to video camera. He just likes to hunt most of the time. So.
Brittany, tell me about this. When we think about hunters, we often think about men, sometimes old men. We don't think about young women. How did you get into this, and what makes it so much fun for you as a young woman?
I think being different and maybe being the only woman at these hunts is kind of cool. I enjoy going with him. It's a bonding thing for us. We get out there in the woods and we really bond and we have fun doing this, and we have fun with the dogs. It's hard on me sometimes. They don't think I should be there, but I give it my all and I just keep going.
Well, I understand that Joe Martin, the other co-host, actually officiated your wedding.
yes, sir.
Tell me about that. How did you meet? How did you meet Joe, and how did this get started?
We do, our kennel name is Tequila Bone Kennels. Tequila being from Tequila Sunrise, which is a bloodline of dog, and then Bone coming from Bone Collector, which is another set of bloodlines. We have a male that's Tequila Sunrise bred and a female that's Bone Collector, so we made Tequila Bone Kennels. They're our main dogs, but we were getting into it and going to these hunts and everything and getting real big and winning a lot of things, so I messaged Joe on Instagram actually, and got to talking and everything, got into some sort of sponsoring deals, and he was going to send us one of his Joe Martin signature calls. And we met Albert, which was the one that was helping last season. We met him down at the Winter Classics, which is a big coon hunt, and got our call. We loved it. It was awesome. It would bring the coon right out of the tree. And so we started talking to him some more and get real close with him, and I found out that he was going to do weddings, and at that time we didn't have anybody in mind. I said that would be awesome. He knows us well. He knows our background with hunting, and we went ahead and went with that, and it was awesome, even though he messed up during the ceremony and called Macon Mason, but he gets that all the time, so it was all right. It was pretty funny.
Tell me then how you got interested in doing a TV show. You liked hunting. What made you want to take a camera out with you, Macon, to put together a documentary essentially of what happens out on the hunt?
Just something different, kind of like Joe said. You can't turn TV on and find a coon hunting TV show anywhere you want to. Just plenty of deer hunting and turkey hunting, but just try to let everybody know what goes on behind coon hunting instead of just all the bad things that everybody sees coon hunting as.
But it's really interesting. There's things that happen out there that, it's funny and it's scary all in the same time. It's very interesting. The way those dogs work are that's just amazing to me, how those dogs work. They'll go out there and they'll tree that coon, and you walk to them, and in deer hunting or turkey hunting, you're more of just sitting there waiting. This is a more action-packed kind of hunting, and the dogs work and you walk to them. You don't know what you're going to walk into. You don't know how the terrain's going to be when you're walking through there, but it's very interesting. It's fun.
Well, thank you, Brittany and Macon, for joining us here, and also thank you to Joe for talking to us earlier. You can catch Runnin N Gunnin here on Channel 15, as well as on all these other channels listed on the screen. We're certainly pleased to have helped them in the beginning and proud of their success.